What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to DIY Mississippi Filmworks. And the DIY stands for do it yourself, because you know what? You want something done? That's to do it yourself. And yes, I know it abbreviates out to DIY-MF. There's a reason for that. People that get it, get it. People that don't, don't. And I want to real quick give a quick shout out and thanks to Big Ramp. When this DIY Mississippi got started, it was not DIY Mississippi Filmworks. It had a different name, began with an F still. He's like, you know what? You need a better name. He's like, Gallo should need a better name. And he helped me come up with a better name. So thank you, Ramp. What this is a magazine, Flipthru. I do these every once in a while to get a hold of some old wrestling magazines. This is a coverless, and maybe back cover. Oh, no, it's got the back cover. Issue of WWF magazine, August 1990, Volume 9, Issue 8. So this would be, probably came out in June, because I think this is a monthly mag. So let's see what we got here. We got Just Saying No Drugs with Jimmy Hart. And Jimmy Hart's one of them guys, you know, everything I've ever heard, he's clean and sober, doesn't do anything. Cool. Super Tape number 2. These are ones I never saw back in the day. I've seen them. Okay, $59.95 plus $3 postage for this on VHS or beta. Tapes were not cheap back in the day, kids. Y'all that grew up in the DVD era, you know, and all that don't realize, you know, that stuff was made for rent, not to buy. That's why I never had any of these as a kid. I had some other wrestling tape, but this had a Rocker's Profile, Macho King Randy Savage versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Bret Hart versus the model Rip Martel, Hogan and Beefcake versus Mr. Perfect and Genius, Rowdy Piper versus Rick Rude in a Steel Cage, plus a special manager profile on Slick, and a mystery gift. Okay. British Knights again. Oh, look. Oh, Bruce Pritchard. Brother Love, I love you. Not the Brother Love that Russell, well, he goes by Brother Heavenly Love here in Mississippi. They had it. The Demolition. I love Demolition. Fan Club. Jesse Bobby Ventura. Clip this coupon to save up to 42% on your subscription to WWF magazine. It was $20 for 12 issues, or 2 years is $35. Demolition takes on a third member. Yes, look at Crush, who I think Crush is dead. The Warlord with his mask and his little staff. I've never been a Warlord fan. Oh, the old music ad. Dude. Any 8 CDs or 12 cassettes for a penny, plus you got to buy like 3 more, like extremely high prices. I did this as a kid, and I got so much good stuff out of it. So I discovered a lot of music. And now kids, you just download everything. Bobby the Brain Heenan interview. Look at that great picture of Bobby. He was just one of the greats. Battle of the Titans. This had to be. See, I don't remember WWF magazine. One of those. I read it off and on, young when I was younger, but I didn't like, you know. In the later years, I've never went back and bought old issues. Whereas the Abner mags, I read those and still do off and on. So I don't remember this being a regular about his. Heart Foundation versus the Rockers, and Demolition jumps in. Always that's great. And that's the other thing. That's one reason why, if you notice in Abner mags, they didn't talk great about WWF, because by the time this magazine started coming out, they banned the Abner photographers from taking photos at ringside. So they just didn't get a good thing. Plus, they knew that your hardcore WWF fans were just reading WWF magazine. If you watched any other Fed, you read the Abner mags. And the Abner mags, people that don't know, they're called that because Bill Abner was a lead photographer and kind of ran it for a while. But it was actually the Weston mags. It was Pro Wrestling Illustrated, Inside Wrestling, The Wrestler, Wrestling, and then like a year, Sports Review Wrestling, and there was others in there, but those were the big ones. My favorite of all those was The Wrestler, and then Inside Wrestling and Pro Wrestling Illustrated. As of now, Pro Wrestling Illustrated is the only one that's left. I think it comes out like 8 times a year, and I pick them up when I find them. But these always have really good pictures. Okay, one belt and haircut coming up. Brutus Beefcake pledges perfect trouble for Mr. Perfect. And this is when, Perfect, Beefcake was supposed to beat him as far as I know, and he got injured. Is this a parasailing accident, I think? Like, almost died. He got his whole face crushed. And Mr. Perfect, such a great wrestler. The odds and ends. Here we go. The merchandise catalog. This is one of my favorites. I love the Warrior pillows and stuff. The fanny. Oh, dude. I wanted wrestling-themed fanny packs that I had. Part of, like, I mention on these videos, I've been at shows. Well, when I'm at shows, if a match is going on, I'm out filming the match. My father runs the table for me over there. I got hard, can't nobody, okay, every time I got to pull the money in my wallet, hand my dad the money to make change with and all that. So I got a fanny pack. And I wear that fanny pack shows because I undo the belt, hand it to him. And it's just a checkerboard. We got a Hulk Hogan Painter's cap. Oh, I love these pins. I want the Rockers. I want Demolition, Boss Man, and Jake. The Wrestling Buddies. Man, $20 a pop. Wow. The Teddy Bears. The belts. And then we get to the shirts. Let's see. That Jake the Snake shirt's really cool. The Macho, I don't like the Macho King shirt. I love Demolition. I love Big Boss. And I never realized as a kid that Demolition's basically, especially when they wear the full mat, they're like in BDSM gear. Like they look like, two leather daddies getting ready to go to the Funky Pirate Bar. The cups. $4 for 4 cups. That ain't horrible. The collector's cards, the charms, the posters. I wouldn't mind. I'd love to have that Sherry poster. I'm a huge Sherry Martel fan. She's one of them I wish I could have met. I just never got to before she passed. I'd like that duffel. Carry my stuff in it. Oh, the headbands and oh man, just so much great stuff. The Hulk Hogan jacket. Look at that. The old issues of the mags. Hulk's Future in Doubt has Earthquake leveled Hulkamania. This is when Earthquake beat the hell out of Hulk Hogan. Tugboat. Sailing with Hulkamania. Fred Ottman. Yeah, Tugboat. Shockmaster. Toot toot. Nikolai Volkov, Freedom Fighter. America opens its arm to the foreign wrestler. There's Boris Zukov beating him up. Got a little story I'll tell. I actually got to meet Boris Zukov. Back in the day. This is 96, might have been 97. But he might not have been in service with him. He lived over in Foley, Alabama. I lived in outside of Moss Point. He'd come over and visit every once in a while. He comes over and visit with him. He's like, yeah, man, this girl we both knew, this friend of his, I think he might have been dating her at the time. I don't remember. she moved to our mom's place, and, this guy's got a 3-bedroom trailer. He's renting her a room in it, and he used to be a wrestler. I'm like, what? He goes, oh, man, he was a Russian. He had this big-ass head. I'm like, oh, Boris Zukov. Boris Zukov was driving trucks and lived Foley or Robertsdale, Alabama. I don't remember which one. They're right by each other. So, like, a couple weeks later, when I had free time, I told him, like, hey, I'm coming over. Boris Zukov. I got to meet Boris Zukov and talk to him. Really nice guy. I remember the first WWF house show, first WWF show I ever went to. One of the first matches was Boris Zukov, who, in my eyes, was a jobber. He didn't win much, but he's taking on Barry Horowitz. I'm like, oh, man. Barry going to lose. And then Barry won. We're like, oh! Everybody's freaking out. And, of course, how many years later? I'll tell you when this show was. It was in the summer. And it was after Ultimate Warrior had lost the Intercontinental title to Rick Rude. So that tells you what time frame it was and how many years later when Barry Horowitz was doing the gimmick in Global later on where he won his first match, and then same thing in WWF where he won his first match against Chris Candido, which was Skip of the Body Donnas. Oh man, look at that. The Barbarian. I'd like that as a poster. I always thought the Barbarian was badass. With the deer antlers and all that. Stone Cold Skull. Ravishing Rick Rude and Train. Look, the punching pads got Warrior's face on it. Bobby's holding them. That's short-haired Rick Rude. A king! Apparently, the monstrous African king has embarked on a seek and destroy mission, which could spell trouble for many WWF superstars. The manager, the Dr. Style Slick, explains, the big man's doing what he does best, brother, the manager says, and that's very all opponents. When the big man gets mad like this, it makes the slickster a very happy man. I loved, and that's another one where sometimes when WWF would bring in wrestlers I knew from other places to change names, I hated it. I hated Terry Taylor as a damn Red Rooster. I hated how they dumbed down Hacksaw Duggan. I wasn't happy with Ted DiBiase becoming the $1 Million Man, but you know what? I did not have an issue with One Man Game becoming a king. I thought it was a cool gimmick. Yeah, now it's one of those where they could not do it. Big old white guy claiming to be African and doing the dance. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen now. Here we go. The Orient Express. Over the past year, Orient Express, Sato and Tanaka, that's Pat Tanaka and Sato, have overcome some of the best tag teams in WWF. They did. Jake the Snake, Wrestling Profile, and Ted DiBiase. Oh, here we go. Gania's got it. How much were these games? Wow, $49.99 for most. 42, 59. Jesus. 64. Gauntlet's the cheapest at 20. Game Boy tapes. These people call them tapes back then. Those were $30. Wow, man. And then we got Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the Monkey. That's cool. Bigfoot the game, and then on the back, SummerSlam. The Heat returns live on pay-per-view. Hogan and Tugboat versus Dino Bravo. Oh, okay. Ultimate Warrior versus Challenger Ravisher. This when okay, so it might have been, was it 90? As far everything I've looked up, is the first time WWF had ever come to Biloxi, because that was a Mid-South Crockett area, But hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, leave a comment, subscribe, click the bell, share, stuff. But just tell somebody. If you enjoyed this video, tell somebody, hey, there's this guy with a thick ass accent that talks a little too fast on YouTube that digs out old wrestling matches and flips through and talks about it, and also films indie wrestling matches. Spread the word. Because, you see, I don't do this for money. I don't, I have not monetized any of my YouTube channels, not going to. Part of the reason on the wrestling ones, because I want the entrances and everything on there. If I monetize them, I get dinged constantly for music. I don't want it. I want the full experience, so that's how it goes. But I'm out, everybody. Ba-boom. Latest.